Hello everybody and welcome back to the UTEP Dynasty, and today we try to end a 4-game losing streak against a team that the game considers one of our bigger rivals, the Sam Houston Bearcats. This team is having an equally bad season as ours, if not a little bit worse. They are 1-5 on the year, with their only win being over our main rival, New Mexico State. They also shared our experience of being slaughtered by Texas. Both of these teams certainly need a win badly, but if you look at the ways that we lost last episode, first allowing a perfect passing game to Louisiana Tech's quarterback, and then blowing a 12-point fourth quarter lead to the Liberty Flames, those were really demoralizing losses, especially when you consider the play of our quarterback Malachi Nelson, who this program has invested so much in, signing the former 5-star in the offseason in the transfer portal. This was supposed to be the year that he finally gets a chance and lives up to the hype he received coming out of high school, but so far, things haven't exactly gone that way. He has thrown 12 interceptions, and maybe not all of them were his fault, but 12 picks in 6 games is 12 picks in 6 games. No ifs, ands, or buts. And he just hasn't shown the ability to grasp the air raid offense and make all the throws that are required of him. Meanwhile, you got the guy that started for UTEP last season, Skylar Locklear, who's only 1 overall lower than Nelson, sitting on the bench, waiting for an opportunity. And if things don't change, we're going to have to make a move. I have decided, though, to give Malachi one more chance against Sam Houston. One more chance to show that this is all just a phase, that the growing pains will eventually be over, and that he is indeed 5-star material. A lot of coaches probably wouldn't have this much patience in their quarterback if he was playing like this, but Aaron Jones trusts Malachi Nelson to figure it out. And let's be real, those boosters want to see return on their investment to get Nelson here in the first place. So he definitely is getting a longer leash than the average quarterback, but even then, he is on his last legs. And if he isn't able to carve up one of the more subpar defenses in Conference USA, we're going to have a conversation, a serious conversation. This team is only in their 3rd year in the FBS after being one of the more dominant teams at the FCS level. And they honestly have a decent amount of offensive talent, but one of their best players will be missing today. Right guard James Dawn has 1 more week of recovery from a foot fracture, and they have a host of other injuries on top of that. They do have a 79 overall quarterback in Hunter Watson, a pure runner. We have really struggled to defend the option and quarterback runs so far this year, and we should expect Watson to take advantage of that. Shane Porter is the main weapon, 83 overall running back, very well rounded. But ultimately, I'd say these two teams are fairly evenly matched, and that's exactly what we need to end this 4-game losing streak. Bearcats are up first as we are underway in Week 8. Hunter Watson will start in the shotgun, fake to his receiver, and pass over the middle to his tight end, Thomas Jewett. Pickup of 21 on the first play. Now near midfield, he drops back again, and he's sacked. Udoka Ezeyani got there first. Sets up 3rd and 13. Here's Watson, shuffling right. The pass is broken up. Neil Campbell got in the way. That forces a punt, and it brings out Malachi Nelson. 13 touchdowns, 12 picks on the year. We actually traded 3 and out, so this is actually the 2nd drive. And we start with a screen to Wandame Davis. Picks up 8. Spread formation on 3rd and 1. Running up the middle is Hassan Wilson. Big hole. And he's up to the Sam Houston 43. Wilson will get it again on 2nd down, turning a 2nd and 7 to a 3rd and 2. Getting Wilson involved early. Speed option on 3rd down. The pitch to Marquez Taylor will do the job. Nearing the red zone. 2nd and 5, play action, Nelson to the sideline and over the head of his tight end, Judah Ezinwa. 4 receivers out wide, 3rd down, Nelson, and passes dropped by Cam Thomas. Not a perfect throw, but it hit Thomas in both of his hands. He's got to make that catch. 4th and 5, Joe Bowman, field goal is wide left. didn't push it quite enough. And it stays scoreless. Watson back to work. Here's a screen pass to the running back, Shane Porter, behind a convoy, and untouched before picking up the first down. Porter will get it again, bouncing this outside, left sideline, pushed out of bounds at the 49. Sam Houston spreading us out. Here's Watson back to pass, into a blitz, wide open, touchdown! Michael Phoenix busts our coverage wide open. We had a zone blitz dialed up, and the man responsible for bumping Phoenix on that route was a lineman with his hand in the dirt. That is not going to work against a slot streak, as Kenny Odom takes a screen for a first down. Near midfield, here's Nelson, hands off to Wilson, and the ball is loose. It's recovered by the Bearcats, but a closer look shows that Wilson was definitely down. The call is overturned. We're back behind schedule, though. 3rd and 10. Here's Nelson, middle, caught. Ezinwa. And a good job from Nelson leading him to open space. Nelson in a clean pocket will take off up the middle and gains 13. Red zone opportunity, first quarter winding down. Pass is hauled in. Kenny Odom goes up and gets that ball in a crowd of defenders. And it sets up an easy touchdown for Hassan Wilson. Miners on the board on the first play of the second quarter. And we're all tied up. Watson takes over again. Tight end motions. And Watson back to pass. He scrambles. And a wide open lane up to midfield. Watson with Porter to his right. 3rd down and 7. He fires up the seam. Caught! Quavez Humphreys beats our defense in the exact same spot. Our secondary is really suspect. This is Yesman Green in coverage, and he gets totally beat off the line of scrimmage. Humphreys didn't even make that much of a move. Green just guessed completely wrong. Both teams' passing game working well so far. Nelson out to Cam Thomas. He accelerates past the defender. First down. Nelson 10 of 17 so far. Nelson with time to throw. He's going to roll to the left. And he will take off. Nearly picking up the first on 1st and 15. Gain of 14. Empty backfield now. Nelson back to pass, and he's got a wide open Kenny Odom. Completely uncovered on the hitch route. But now a 3rd and 12, our drive in jeopardy. Nelson on a designed rollout to the right. Chucks it downfield, right in stride for Odom. Very nice throw from Malachi. And the Miners knocking on the door. Wilson! Untouched into the end zone. And the Miners tie it up once more. Back and forth start to the ball game. 3:30 to go in the half. Spin move from Shane Porter. One of the more elusive ball carriers we've seen all season. Watson on 2nd and 2. Up the seam. Caught by Jewett. They continue to kill us in the vertical passing game. Play action pass. Watson. Hole shot. It's caught. What a throw. And Avion Smith-Mack comes down with the catch. And on the counter play here, Shane Porter powering forward. Touchdown, Sam Houston. And Stratton Schufelt had a wide open shot at Porter, and he missed. Down by 7 once more. Can we keep trading touchdowns? Nelson checks it down. Wilson running after the catch. First down at the 29-yard line. But now at 3rd and 7 with 45 seconds left, Nelson fumbles it on the pitch. He was hit as he was trying to get it to Wilson. Wilson picks it up, but it stalls out our drive. And wide open in the flat now, Avion Smith-Mack. 25-yard pickup. He was all alone on the left side of the field. Just over 20 seconds to go. Watson has running room. Hit hard past the 30, but he will set up a Sam Houston field goal. Christian Pavon right down the middle. And that's going to lead us to halftime. Bearcats up by 10. Not our finest game so far, but I think it's mostly the defense's fault rather than Nelson's. Taking a quick break to look at the recruiting trail, here are some of the battles that should be ending soon. We're still in first place for 3-star safety Clay Armor, but we're not completely out of the woods. Colorado State and Wyoming are making a push, and it does not help that Armor's visit with us did not go very well. Thankfully though, one of the other 3 stars we're targeting, Kevin Cordero, an athlete linebacker, currently has no other teams pursuing him. We got so close to landing running back Eric Santucci last week, but it looks like it's going to come down to a recruiting battle. New Mexico is creeping up on us, and if we don't win today, the Lobos should be able to leapfrog us. We're very close to a commitment from 2-star guard Ronald Amerson, and we're in good shape for 2-star edge defender Kevin Rizzo and safety Bryce Boutte, despite the fact that they visited a game that we lost. I'm also now targeting our first tight end of the class, 1-star vertical threat Ben Kerr out of Fresno. And we've also made some progress on running back Joshua Isadora, climbing to 5th place. We are the only team to offer him a scholarship so far, though. And we take a commanding lead on defensive tackle J.C. Corner. Back to the second half now in Huntsville, Texas, where Malachi Nelson will try to come back from 10 down. First play of the second half is another fumble on an option. Picked up by Wilson and a loss of 13 yards. The Bearcats clearly are picking up on our tendencies, and they're all over the option play. And this is a nightmare start to the half. Loss of 4, 3rd and 27 at the 4-yard line. Nelson just chucks it up. Kenny Odom makes the catch. Are you kidding me? He barely even turned around to look at that ball. Well, they said no eyes, no pick, but I guess they didn't say no eyes, no catch. Kenny Odom with one of the plays of the season. Gets our offense out of jail, but now we face a 4th and 2. And we're not ready to give up on this drive yet. Nelson pulls to the flat, broken up, incomplete. Sam Houston sent the house on a man blitz, which was the perfect call to stop our RPO. They had both of our options covered up. 3rd and 7 for the Bearcats, and Shane Porter shrugs off a man and picks up the first. They face another 3rd down. Here's Hunter Watson lofting it over Jalen Shelton into the bucket for Quavez Humphreys. First down. 26-yard line, handoff up the middle to Porter, and it goes for a first down. When they've handed it off to Porter, they've been productive. 3rd and 7 again for Watson. He has to roll out to his right, and no one there. He has to throw it away. Good pressure from our D-line, and it forces a field goal, which means it remains a 2-score game. Nelson, read option, he pulls it, and gets into the open field for a 25-yard gain. Empty set with a bunch on the left now. Here's Nelson on first down, and he hooks up with Kenny Odom. Past the 40 to the 38. Nelson, 22 of 32, and interception free. He takes off on this first down, picks up 8, pushed out of bounds. We face another 4th and short, and Marquez Taylor picks it up this time. Getting some good blocks from the O-line. 3 to go in the quarter. Nelson to the flat. Taylor catches it in stride. And what a juke move, breaking the ankles of 2 Bearcats. Up to the 3. But the first down run is blown up. That is unacceptable blocking. And now on 3rd and goal from the 12. Nelson finds Azinwa. Touchdown. And we're back in this ball game. Azinwa with a perfectly executed dig route over the middle. And Nelson had it on time and on target. So far, he's played pretty well. 27-21, Sam Houston. And this pass is jarred loose and nearly intercepted. That floated in the air, but Tyler Jones couldn't come down with it. 3rd and 5, Shane Porter makes a man miss in the backfield, but he stopped just shy of the first down, and they punted away. Final play of the third quarter, Marquez Taylor gashes the defense to the 29-yard line, setting us up for quarter number 4. Nelson, pass deflected at the line of scrimmage. And the game actually wants us to go for this on 4th and 5. I say no. We're going to kick it. Joe Bowman missed one earlier, makes this. And we're down by 3. I think missing another 4th down conversion there would have been backbreaking. So we're just going to take the points. Here's Watson scrambling, looking back inside the hash marks, and finding Humphreys. First down. Defense showing a double mug, and right up the middle is Porter. Stratton Schufelt got destroyed by the center, and it opens up a huge hole. First down, Watson is sacked. Seems like Cole Gustafson's been able to get into the backfield every episode. 3rd and 9 for Watson, and not enough. Michael Phoenix tackled short by Udoka Ezeyani, and we hold them to 3 points. But we need some points on the offensive end. Nelson is sacked. They sent a blitz looping around the right side. We had some men open on the play, but not enough time for Nelson. And again pressured, and he floats that pass up in the air. Lucky that wasn't picked off by the D lineman. We have to punt this away with 6.5 remaining. A stop is essential right now, and that's a dart from Watson for the first down. But we had them at a 3rd and 11, 5:30 to go. Watson protected. Open is Phoenix over the middle. Again finding the soft spot in our zone coverage. And now they're in the red zone. The backup running back, Alton McCaskill, makes it a 3rd and 3. McCaskill will get it again. Direct snap. And they say he got the first down. That was close. Any points would make this a 2-score game now. McCaskill! Touchdown! And again, our 3rd down pass defense is our downfall. So close to forcing a punt, and instead, they march it all the way down the field. 13-point game. To the sideline, this is caught by Cam Thomas. Toe drag catch. We need quick points. Nelson back to pass. Looks short. Intercepted! This is going to go all the way back for 6. Nelson running back can't make the tackle. Trey Harris with the nail in the coffin. Nelson was playing pretty well up to this point, man. But he throws a pick at the worst time. That was just an inaccurate short pass. And there's another one over the head of Thomas on the screenplay. It's going to take a miracle now. Nelson, no! Intercepted again. Game over. Trying to fit it into a tight window up the seam, and C.J. Brown was there. Man, what a sad way to go out. Malachi was playing well in the game that he desperately needed to play well in, and then all of a sudden, he just wasn't. And at the end of the day, we can't just keep trotting out a quarterback who's going to fold in tight 4th quarter situations like this. We just kept trying and trying to give Nelson more chances, but I think he may have exhausted them all. We have yet another 4th quarter collapse, allowing 16 points in the 4th quarter to the Bearcats, only scoring 3. Final score 43-24. And the defense just really did not do us any favors. I think they were what put us behind the 8 ball, more so than Nelson. We held the ball for over 30 minutes in this game, but not able to make the most of our opportunities, and Sam Houston just made too many big plays. This is now 5 losses in a row after the 2-0 start. And at the end of the day, this is not all on Malachi, this is on everybody. Constant blown coverages on 3rd downs, getting beat to the edge in the run game, being completely clueless defending the option, and on offense, the run game just hasn't complemented the pass game enough. we are consistently struggling to pick up those 3rd and short, 4th and short. I don't know if that's a slider issue or just kind of the way that College Football 26 plays, because honestly, last year I never had a problem picking up those short conversions. It's become very clear that this team is incomplete and has a lot of work to do. We do get a commitment though. Ronald Amerson is coming to UTEP, and so is 1-star quarterback Tony Macchiella. And this is really interesting because we actually didn't meet his deal breaker. Our championship contender is now all the way down to F. Macchiella needed a D- to commit, but he committed anyway. I'm really not sure how those deal breakers work. But unfortunately, we are now in a battle with New Mexico for Eric Santucci. We do still have first place, but now it's going to take that last big push as both teams are going to be going all out. It's probably also going to take us stringing together a couple wins. Anyway, I always try to keep you guys updated on my sliders just to be transparent. And one thing I did was change the Coach XP speed from slower back to normal. Since they changed the number of levels from 50 to 100, I feel like it's less important to nerf the XP gains because getting to level 100 is going to take forever anyway. Here's your Conference USA scoreboard for the week. Delaware actually gets its first win at the FBS level, taking down the defending champions from last year, Jacksonville State. Elsewhere in the country, Florida remains undefeated with a big win over Mississippi State. And Clemson also survives the scare, going to multiple overtimes with number 17 SMU. What a quarterback duel this was, as Cade Klubnik's 422 yards and 5 touchdowns edges 471 yards and 4 touchdowns with a pick from Kevin Jennings. Michigan remains undefeated, edging Washington in a rematch of the 2024 title game. And how about Vanderbilt continuing to beat big-name schools? LSU having a major down year, though, 3-4. And then Tennessee actually gives the Crimson Tide their first loss of the season, 49-45. Joey Aguilar with another huge game. But so far, the Heisman favorite is still Jeremiah Smith, who just got 2 touchdowns against Wisconsin. He is followed closely by Cade Klubnik and Kevin Jennings. And I think now's a good time to do a mid-season stat update. And it should come as a surprise to nobody that Malachi Nelson leads the country in interceptions. He has 3 more than the next man, as CJ Carr and Drake Lindsay both have 11. 5.3% of Nelson's pass attempts have been interceptions. Here's the stats for Hassan Wilson. He has 4.6 yards per carry, 437 yards, 4 touchdowns. A 1,000-yard season is pretty unlikely, especially considering that he always seems to get wear and tear, and we end up usually just putting in Marquez Taylor at the end of games. Kenny Odom leads us in receiving yards with Cam Thomas behind him. Both have 3 touchdowns, while Jaden Smith has 4. And the wide receiver room, man, they have really kept us afloat at times. All 3 of those starting guys have made some incredible plays this year, and without them, we might be 0-7. And it hasn't been the greatest season for freshman left tackle Luka Matamoros, 8 sacks allowed. KD Johnson and Cole Gustafson lead us in sacks. That's 13.5 sacks from our defensive tackles. And Solo Barnes still has our only interception on the season. Week 9 is another bye week for us, so let's just get through the recruiting quickly. And it looks like we are going to keep Tony Macchiella despite the championship contender deal breaker. I have added a speed rushing defensive tackle to the board, Marquez Cornell. 79 acceleration, pretty good. And then a middle linebacker, LaShawn Byard, also will be targeted. And lastly, I have scheduled a visit for 2-star defensive tackle J.C. Corner. He'll be visiting our rivalry game against New Mexico State. And now here's some scores from Week 9. Vanderbilt has done it again. A 14-point comeback in the 4th quarter to beat Missouri. They might actually make the conference championship. And wow, Michigan takes their first loss to Michigan State, 28-26. And Alabama has now lost 2 straight. South Carolina 38-30. Colorado is still in the mix. They're ranked number 15, narrowly avoiding a loss to Utah here. The Buffalo's quarterback is former Liberty star Caden Salter, and he's pretty good. And man, New Mexico State must be a really bad team because they are 1-6 now. winless in conference play, and they just lost to Missouri State. They join us at the bottom of the conference standings, the only two teams without a win so far. Florida International looks like the best team in the conference. 6-1 overall, 3-0 record. They might be ranked if they keep this up. And if the playoffs started today, here's what it would look like. Penn State, Clemson, Oregon, and Florida are the top 4 teams. The group of 5 bid looks like it'll be Tulane, who's ranked number 21. And somehow Illinois is in there at number 9, despite only being 5-3. A little bit more recruiting here in Week 10. Clay armor is far from guaranteed. We barely made any progress last week during the bye, and Colorado State is now up to number 2, and they also have a visit scheduled later in the season. And this does not look good. Eric Santucci is this close to putting New Mexico as his number 1 school. Of course, he is from New Mexico, but maybe we can flip the script with a win. And UNLV just made a ton of progress on JC Corner. And the visit we just scheduled for Corner is actually going to be after UNLV's and after New Mexico State's. So those schools are going to have a lot of chances to jump ahead of us. And then just to get that complimentary visit boost in for JC Corner, I also scheduled Kevin Cordero for a visit that same week. But now we have to address the elephant in the room. What do we do at quarterback? Here are Malachi Nelson's attributes: 61 throw under pressure, 92 throw power, 69 awareness, 86 speed. And Skylar Locklear, our backup, has better short accuracy, 84 to 80, and better throw under pressure, 73 to 61. He is slower with 81 speed, but that's not too bad, and he has a much weaker arm at 85. Locklear has the backfield creator archetype, while Nelson has dual threat. I think it's time to make a change. I think with the offense that we run, which is very traditional air raid, West Coast offense, we need a West Coast quarterback, and Skylar Locklear has proven that he is capable of running that offense at least decently. I thought that with the addition of Nelson and his 92 throw power to go with our very talented receiving core, that we would be able to add more of a vertical element to the offense and really just try to beat teams down the field with passes down the sideline or play action up the middle of the field. And we've had some successes doing that, but it's come with some really, really rough downsides. We just can't keep dealing with the overthrown quick outs, the drag routes where the ball goes completely behind the receiver and into the hands of a defender. And my hope is that Skylar Locklear can fix that a little bit. With that said, Locklear will get his first start of the season in our upcoming game against Kennesaw State. If he's able to get us out of this losing streak, I think we've found our quarterback for the rest of the season. If he ends up playing just as bad as Nelson, well, this is going to get even more messy. The Owls are 4-3, 4th in the conference, and they are much more of a defensive-focused team. Their best player is cornerback Jericho Washington Jr., one of the best zone defenders in the conference. And they also have linebacker Danelius Johnson, who I actually got to transfer over to Georgia Tech in last year's Yellow Jackets Dynasty. He was a great player for me. The quarterback is Dexter Williams II, and his accuracy ratings are as bad as I've seen from any starter in the entire country. Coleman Bennett is the running back, 87 speed. He will get a heavy workload, especially because one of their top receivers, Gabriel Benyard, is out with an ACL tear. And the quarterback change has been made. Skylar Locklear starts the game at quarterback. His first start of the season. Will we finally see some positive change, or will it just be more of the same? First down run goes nowhere. And now he finds a man crossing the field. It's Cam Thomas for his first completion of the game. 3rd down and 5. And this is broken up. Good coverage on Jaden Smith. Now our first look at Kennesaw State's offense. Coleman Bennett getting to the edge and picking up the first down past midfield to the 44. Already 25 rushing yards. And Williams will hit the slant. This is Christian Moss in UTEP territory. Now at the 23-yard line, and we blow up the run play. K.D. Johnson in the backfield. His 14th tackle for loss of the season forces a Kennesaw State field goal. Locklear on third down now hits Cam Thomas. Well-placed ball up the seam. Now Locklear fires it into Wandame Davis, bouncing around for a first down. Halfway through the first quarter, UTEP looking for its first points. And a risky throw there, caught by Smith. Malachi Nelson's thrown a few of those that have been intercepted. First down for Locklear. Flag on the field. It was a nice connection to Thomas, but it will be called back. And that sets us back. 3rd and 20. Kennesaw State in press coverage. Locklear sideline and incomplete. I think that was a perfect pass to Kenny Odom, but for some reason, he didn't even attempt to make the catch. Did he lose the ball in the lights or something? We have to punt this away, and Noah Botsford with a gem of a punt. Down by Neil Campbell at the 3. But the Owls get some breathing room right away. This is the tight end, Gerard Bullock Jr. First down for Williams, handoff to Coleman Bennett. Again bouncing it to the right side. First down. And our defense continues to be mauled by opposing offensive tackles. Here's Dexter Williams on second down, hitting the curl route. The Owls have a player shaken up. And the offensive line again having their way. Receivers also getting out to block for Coleman Bennett. Out ahead of 50 yards already. Williams play action. Open in the end zone is Christian Moss. Touchdown, Kennesaw State. Yesman Green continuing to get burned down the sideline. That time he completely bit on the play action. 10-0 KSU. This is not going well for us. Hassan Wilson, though, with a nice pickup. 51 seconds to go in the first. Here's Locklear, clean pocket, and he will take off. Lots of running room. He picks up the first by himself. We probably should have a touchdown if Odom had caught that ball, but still without points. And here's Locklear to Cam Thomas. The check down goes for 9 yards. Second quarter now, screen pass caught by Hassan Wilson. With room to run, picks up a block, and he's up to the 23. And our best scoring chance all game. 2x2 set for Locklear. Firing one in to Judah Azinwa, who lays out to make the catch up the seam. Locklear's been operating in that area really well, and now he hits Wilson. Easy touchdown, and the Miners are on the board. And we actually managed to force a 3 and out on the next drive. We get the ball back. 1st and 10, here is Jaden Smith on the catch inside the hash marks. Goes for 8 yards. And Wilson on split zone will take a man for a ride. And he gains 7. Locklear facing a blitz, and a risky throw is caught by Smith. He was double covered, but Locklear put it in the perfect position. 3rd down at the 24, empty backfield. Locklear is swarmed and sacked. Pressure from all angles. And Joe Bowman will try to tie this up, and a perfect kick is through the uprights. Knotted at 10, and another 3 and out gets us the ball back. Good job from our defense. Hassan Wilson up the gut and into Owl territory. Wide cross on first down. The out route caught by Thomas, and a spin move gets him the first down and more. Nearly in the red zone. Locklear with the screen. Wilson behind some blockers. Can he get to the end zone? He's stopped at the 2. Very good execution on the screen. And last week we struggled to punch it in from inside the 5. Wilson tries to get to the pylon. He cannot. 10 carries already. And now he will get it again at the 1-yard line. And he's stopped for a loss of 3. That had 0 chance. And we again have to settle for 3. Here's Christian Moss. So much separation. Bursting up the middle of the field. And to the 40 of UTEP. Owls in the 2-minute drill. Dexter Williams pressured and sacked by K.D. Johnson. 3rd and 8. Heavy pass rush again, and Williams barely gets it out. They're at the 38-yard line, and they say that's too far for their kicker. The punt team is out. Flag on the field, and I cannot believe this. Solo Barnes just drifted off sides. They never let you do that in previous games. I was just trying to get a head start off the line. But it ends up getting the Owls in field goal range, and they tie it up. Unbelievable. We do have some time left to do some damage before the half. Locklear on a design rollout. And he's going to loft this in to Kenny Odom. Risky pass back over the middle after rolling to the sideline. But Odom had the separation, and he's able to set up a Joe Boban field goal that just sneaks inside the right upright. UTEP takes the lead back, and that spells the end of half number 1. What do you think of Skylar Locklear's performance so far? He's definitely slinging it around the field. 17 of 30 for 216 passing yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. He really should have 2 touchdowns if I'm being honest. Second half action now. Dexter Williams will scramble on 3rd down and pick it up. Kennesaw State starts with the ball. Play action for Williams, and this is intercepted! The second pick for our defense all year. Yesman Green atones for his past mistakes. Finally, we get a turnover. Williams had his tight end open, but he saw him way too late, and it's Miner football. 2nd and 8. Into the open space for the catch is Cam Thomas. Locklear's been targeting him quite a bit. And Wilson goes up the middle. Not quite a first down, and now we're going for it on 4th and 1. Wilson hit hard, but he barely gets it. That was very close. The drive is still alive, and Locklear will tuck it and run it for a first down. And here's Hassan Wilson again, not able to pick up a 3rd and short. But we continue to be aggressive despite our 4th down struggles. And it backfires! Marquez Taylor dumped in the backfield by Danelius Johnson. We really need to stop running that RPO flat play on 4th down. Other teams have really caught on. 3rd and 9 for Dexter Williams, and the pass is broken up. Neil Campbell with the hit, and it forces another 3 and out. 3rd down and 3 now for UTEP, and this time the RPO works. A bubble screen to Cam Thomas. We can really take control of this game with a touchdown on this drive. Motion and a handoff to Marquez Taylor, our second half specialist running back. He always performs well after Wilson has wear and tear issues. And this is fit into Josh Shucks. We haven't heard from him much since he got benched for Judah Azinwa, but a nice play there. Locklear to the goal line, and stopped at the 1-inch line is Kenny Odom. And on 3rd and goal, we're going heavy. Locklear on the sneak, can't get in. The goal line struggles continue, but on 4th and goal, we keep at it. Same formation, handoff to the fullback, touchdown! He breaks the plane. Tyler Reyes has barely gotten any carries this year, but when they least expect it, we give it to the powerful fullback. 10-point game, and we again force a punt, but KD Johnson is in a lot of pain. Hopefully that's not too serious. Skylar Locklear on 2nd down. Wide open, Cam Thomas on the deep crosser. Gets Locklear over 300 passing yards. And approaching the red zone again, Locklear aborts and runs. Gain of 9 up to the 10-yard line. Speed option. Can we actually make the pitch cleanly this time? We do! And Wilson is in! Touchdown! And the Miners go up 3 scores with 7:39 to go. Cam Thomas unfortunately has a bruised sternum, will not return, but he should be back for next week. And now we just have to hold on. 3rd and 7, Williams sacked by Gustafson. 4th and 21, Kennesaw with no choice but to punt it away. And this game is pretty much in the bag. We do eventually get a doink field goal from Joe Bowman. That was from 50 yards out. But we are up big on the road in the 4th quarter. And we're cruising to our first win since week 2. But wow, what a catch from Tykeem Wallace. Here in garbage time, he's still fighting to the end. Able to wrestle this ball away from Jalen Shelton. The strength to absorb that hit is very impressive. But we do get the victory, 33-20, and the quarterback change yields immediate benefits. Hassan Wilson does get the Player of the Game award for his 2 touchdowns, but you gotta give Skylar Locklear a lot of credit for stepping into a situation that looked honestly dysfunctional after 5 straight losses and getting us back on track by playing smart football, protecting the football, and making the offense look a little bit more like it's supposed to. We did all our damage in the 2nd and 4th quarters, and we didn't back down after Kennesaw State went up 10-0 in the 1st. Locklear finishes this game 28 for 44, so we did throw a lot of incompletions, but 309 yards, 1 touchdown, no pick, and 20 rushing yards to go with it. As long as he's protecting the football, I'm not going to complain, and today he looked like someone who is fit to lead this team from now until the end of the season. Our defense also played much better than they did against Sam Houston, allowing only 3.3 yards per carry to Coleman Bennett, sacking Dexter Williams a handful of times on 3rd down, and they went 4 for 13 on 3rd downs in total. And we finally got an interception against an FBS school. I never thought that would happen. I think a big part of our success is that we stayed committed to the run. We made them respect the run. We ran it 22 times with Wilson, 7 times with Marquez Taylor. And Locklear also had a good amount of scrambling yards. We do level up Aaron Jones. We're now level 4. And we're able to upgrade the offensive line to the max. But we also have 8 more points, which we will use to upgrade the running backs for the first time. So Aaron Jones going all in on the ground and pound to complement the air raid principles that our offense already has. We have 2 more players in their top 3 stage now, JC Corner and Bryce Boutte. UNLV, though, still threatening to take JC Corner away from us. And we finally have enough points to upgrade a player that isn't Malachi Nelson. Stratton Schufeld is going to upgrade his pass coverage. Around the conference, New Mexico State almost got their first win in Conference USA play, but fell just short in overtime to Western Kentucky. And we're finally out of the basement. We are now 10th in the conference, ahead of only New Mexico State and Delaware, both of whom we play at the end of the year. Meanwhile, FIU still undefeated, Western Kentucky and Jacksonville State right behind them. This might be Penn State's year as they flex their muscles, destroying Ohio State 62-31. And Notre Dame looked like a playoff contender, but now they're going to have some ground to make up after losing to Boston College. Georgia, Florida, one of the most highly anticipated matchups of the year. They're finally about equal in terms of talent, but Georgia continues to own the Gators, beating them by 10 and giving them their first loss of the season. Duke has been one of the top teams this year, and they still are, but Clemson wins the battle of undefeateds 30-28. And with Florida's loss, undefeated number 4 Texas Tech is now the front runner for that 4th playoff bye. 2 more touchdowns from Jeremiah Smith, and despite Ohio State now being unranked, he is still the front runner for Heisman. We continue to move full speed ahead to the end of Season 1. We're now more than halfway through the year, and next episode we'll continue against the Jacksonville State Gamecocks, who are 4-4. This team won the conference last year and still has no shortage of talent, but they did manage to lose to Delaware. Gavin Wimsatt, the quarterback, is still going to be a handful though with 86 speed. And Cam Cook is a former all-conference running back who already has 13 touchdowns on the year, 90 speed, and he's got all the ball carrier move badges as well. He's also got a quality backup in power back Andrew Paul, 81 overall. The defense is led by senior safety Trevor Woods. Not great in coverage, more of a run defender. Only 83 speed though, so he's like a worse version of Xavier Smith. And they also have former Georgia Tech linebacker Jacob Cruz. This team's had a lot of close wins and a lot of close losses. They've beat Liberty, Sam Houston, and Middle Tennessee State, who they just beat last week. Gavin Wimsatt carried the ball 19 times in this one, for 1 touchdown, 43 yards. But hopefully we've finally gotten the monkey off our back now with our first win since week 2, and we finally made a long-awaited quarterback change. Pretty sad to see Malachi Nelson's big sophomore season go down this way. Definitely was not what I predicted, but ultimately, he just hasn't performed under pressure, and with our offensive line, we need someone who can do that a little bit better. But a lot happened in this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you all for making it this far. If you did, if you like what you see, I'd really appreciate if you left a like on the video, left a comment with some feedback, subscribe to the channel, turn post notifications on if you want to stay updated, and of course recommend me to a friend. But we have a new starting quarterback here in the UTEP Miners Dynasty. What do you think, everybody? Let me know in the comments. Have a great rest of your day, and next episode we will see how far Skylar Locklear can take us.